Alright. Giving all praise and glory to the Most High. And the Mashiach Yahushua, Hashem Mashiach Yahushua. As always, we're going to start with Colossians 3:17. And whatsoever you do in word or deed, do all by Hashem Mashiach Yahushua. Giving thanks to the Most High and the Father by Hashem Mashiach Yahushua. So all that we say and do is going to be in the name of the Lord and Savior. We give thanks to the Most High, because He worthy to be praised, and thanks for everything. Without Him, we can do nothing. We only can reach the Most High in the name of the Lord and Savior. As Mashiach Yahushua told us in St. John 14:6. He said, no man cometh to the Father but by Him. He said, he comes, the volume of the book is written of Him to do the will of the Most High. He is the word of the Most High. Most High have a voice. Mashiach Yahushua is declared as the word of the Most High. So we're honoring the new moon. So I want to go into a few scriptures pertaining to the new moon, and we're going to look at what it is that's important in observing these feast days and holy days, as far as to, follow suit with what it is that has been told to us in these last days. As we are coming back to the Most High and Mashiach Yahushua, following our customs and what we did as a people. So we're going to look at Numbers 10 and 10, and we're going to go from there. Numbers 10 and 10. And it reads, after also in the day of your gladness. So this will be a day of gladness. And in your solemn days, and in the beginnings of your months, which it would be the new moon, it's the beginnings of the month, the first day of the month, you shall blow with the trumpets over your burnt offerings and over the sacrifices of your peace offerings, that they may be to you for a memorial before your power. I am the Most High, your power. And we know we're not sacrificing the animals, because Mashiach Yahushua was the ultimate sacrifice. And this is the carnal aspect of what we done, and He is the spiritual aspect of what would be done concerning the atonement for our sins, because He is the atonement. Mashiach Yahushua. So this is a day of gladness that we're supposed to be, feeling good. And I do feel very well, knowing that the Most High opened up our eyes to know that this is our custom, once a month, that we have a new moon feast. So let's go to Psalms 81 to find out when this actually began. And then we're going to go to the day of gladness, a day of gladness, and look at times when we as a people, the Israelites, were full of joy. Rather than just, it's a day that He allowed us to come together. We still come together, and you still got all this madness and, sadness, and you already depressed from the oppressor or whatever it is that you're dealing with. He gave us a day to let that go. Let it go. That's like what we have to do in changing. That's what we have to do. You got to be able to revert to what the Most High told us to do. He said, day of gladness. And we're going to see that, these holy days, which is the new moon is a holy day the Most High gave us once a month, to have a feast and have a good time. Gladness. It's not supposed to be any sadness, so you ain't supposed to be bringing no drama to the table. On His holy day, it's His holy day. Here we go, not knowing how to function, to let go of how you feel or how I feel, anyone feel, but allow it to be, a day of gladness, joy. So Psalms 81st chapter says, sing aloud unto the Most High our strength. See? It says sing aloud, sing songs to the Most High our strength. Make it joyful, they go joyful again, joyful noise unto the Most High, power of Jacob. So a joyful noise, joyful songs to the Most High power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. take a psalm, which is a song, and bring hither the timbrels, the pleasant harp with the psaltery music. Blow up the trumpet in the new moon. See, blow up the trumpet in the new moon in the time appointed, which is the first day of the month, our month. On our solemn feast day. See, on our solemn feast day. The Israelites, solemn feast day. But this was a statute for Israel. Don't say for no one else. It was a statute for Israel. We the Israelites. The 12 tribes of Israel. Not just 1 or 2 tribes, but the 12 tribes of Israel. But this was a statute for Israel. When? And a law of the most high power of Jacob. So it's a law of the most high power of Jacob. This he ordained when? In Joseph for a testimony. Now we know our forefather Joseph, he went to Egypt with his brothers, sold him to the Arabs, and they sold him to the Hamites. This he ordained in Joseph for a testimony when he went out through the land of Egypt, where I heard a language that I understood not. See? So he went through the land of Egypt where he heard a language which he understood not, because he's only the power of Israel. So when he changed out those nations' languages, when they built the Tower of Babel, and spread them all over, everywhere you could think of, places, different places, he allowed us to have our language of Hebrew still. Because everybody was of one language, Hebrew. So it allowed us to keep our original language still, to Hebrew. Or Ibar, you see, our ancestor. So, unto this day, we have it. The ancient Hebrew. So, and we learned the modern Hebrew too. It's a lot of learning. Look at Psalms 119 chapter. You see the Hebrew characters representing 22 verses, or I might say chapters or whatever. It's all broke down in most Bibles by the Hebrew characters, but generally it wouldn't be the ancient Hebrew characters. Generally it's the modern Yiddish, the Jewish people language, their characters, but it's still only 22 characters in the Hebrew. So this is a time that I say we had music, we was playing music, and it said make a joyful noise unto the most high power of Jacob. You see? So I want to look tonight in how we have to look at this and be these days and be joyful. When you come up with negative and you have the spirit of division or whatever it is that you have personally in these times, you bring it to the Sabbath, you bring it to these feast days with the Most High. When you go back to Leviticus 23rd chapter, he let you know the importance of the first thing he mentions, and you'll understand it once you see it. Leviticus 23:1. And the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them concerning the feast of the Most High, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations, even these are my feasts. So he's talking about the feast of the Most High. Even these are my feasts. So he says 6 days shall work be done, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of rest. You see what he started with first? The Sabbath. In holy convocation, these are his feasts, the Most High's feast. 6 days shall work be done, verse 3, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of rest and holy convocation. Remember? He said in verse 2, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations, even these are my feasts. So it's saying, 6 days shall work be done, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of rest. In holy convocation ye shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath of the Most High in all your dwellings. See? So, he started with the Sabbath, letting you know that these feast days are concerned with the Most High as Sabbath days. But these are days of gladness. That's why look at Romans the 5th chapter. Verse 6. Romans 5 and 6. For when we were yet without strength, no power at all. Remember, the Most High is our strength. So we were yet without the Most High. Remember what it said in Psalms 81st chapter, in the spirit of the Most High. It says, sing aloud unto the Most High our strength. You see? So it says in Romans 5 and 6, for when we were yet without strength, we were yet without the Most High, in due time, the Mashiach Yahushua died for the unrighteous. See? He died for the unrighteous. So when he died, that's when the sacrificing temple was written in half, and the sacrificing of animals was done away with. So look at verse 11. And not only so, but we also joy in the Most High. See? Because we join in the Most High through our power of Mashiach Yahushua, by whom we have now received the atonement of our sins. Well, we're not sacrificing animals anymore. You see? This is powerful, because without him, Mashiach Yahushua dying for the sins of Israel, we still would be in bondage of sacrificing animals. The Most High said that didn't move him. Why? Because he wants us to be obedient. Period. That's what he wants. He wants to be obedient. So let's look at the joy that we as a people have, because we didn't always have sadness. We wouldn't always bent down and, looking at feeling bad. That's why it says it's time to uplift yourself and be happy. Be joy, that your joy be fulfilled in the Mashiach. Look, go to 1 Samuel 18. Look at verse 1. And it came to pass, when he had made an end of speaking unto Saul, that the soul of Jonathan was knit with the soul of David. They was tight. And Jonathan loved him as his own soul. And Saul took him that day and would let him go no more home to his father's house. So he took David, and he wouldn't let him go back no more to his father's house. Then Jonathan and David made a covenant, because he loved him as his own soul. And Jonathan stripped himself of the robe that was upon him and gave it to David. Saul is the king. Jonathan is king's son. So he took off the robe that he had and put it on David, and his garments, even to his sword, and to his bow, and to his girdle, gave all his raiment. His bow, his sword, and his girdle. Verse 5. And David went out whensoever Saul sent him, and behaved himself wisely. And Saul set him over the men of war. And he was accepted in the sight of all the people, and also in the sight of Saul's servants. See? Mighty man, our King David. And it came to pass that they came, when David was returned from the slaughter of the Philistines, killing the Hamites, the Egyptians. The Philistines are Egyptians. That the women came out of all cities of Israel, singing and dancing to meet King Saul, with tambourines, with joy, and with instruments of music. So we had music. You know how music moves you. It's supposed to move you unless you're a bunch of L7s, a bunch of squares or something. And the women answered one another as they played and said, They happy. Saul has killed his thousands and David is 10,000. Here we go. But they happy. They joyful. They singing, Saul kills his thousands, David killed his 10,000s. And Saul was very wroth. He got jealous. And the saying displeased him, and he said, They have ascribed unto David 10,000s, and to me they have ascribed but thousands. And what can he have more but the kingdom? And Saul eyed David from that day and forward. So that's when the feud, I'll say the envy and the jealousy of Saul against David, they were just a servant. You know, at this time he was a king. He was, you know, sent to Saul really because Saul needed someone to, servants told him, man, you get someone to play the harp. And they knew about David, they got David. Moved those spirits from him. So 1 Kings, the first chapter. 1 Kings, the first chapter. But you see how joyful I'm here because of the joy. You know, that happened personally between Saul and David. But the women, they were happy, you know. David was a mighty warrior and he did kill 10,000. That's why the Most High wouldn't allow him to build the temple, because of the blood that he had on his hands. So go to 1 Kings, the first chapter, and we're going to look at verse 31. Then Bathsheba bowed with her face to the earth and did reverence to the king and said, Let my Lord King David live forever. Now, David is king here. So Bathsheba bowed with her face to the earth and did reverence to the king and said, Let my Lord King, my power, my master, King David, live forever. And King David said, Call me Zadok the priest, and Nathan the prophet, and Benaniah the son of Jehoiada, and they came before the king. The king also said unto them, Take with you the servants of your power master, and cause Solomon my son to ride upon my own mule, and bring him down to Gihon. And let Zadok the priest and Nathan the prophet anoint him there king over Israel. And blow ye with the trumpet, and say, The Most High say, King Solomon. He told him to anoint King Solomon, his son Solomon, to be king over Israel. Then ye shall come up after him, that he may come and sit upon my throne, for he shall be king in my stead. And I have appointed him to be ruler over Israel and over Judah. Israel represents the northern tribes, 9.5 tribes, and Judah represents the southern tribes. Judah is and Levi. And Benaniah, the son of Jehoiada, answered the king and said, So be it, the most high power of my power, my master the king, say so too. You say it's got to be done, let it be done. As the Most High have been with my master the king, even so be he with Solomon, and make his throne greater than the throne of my master King David. So Zadok the priest, and Nathan the prophet, and Benaniah the son of Jehoiada, and the Cherethites and the Pelethites went down and caused Solomon to ride upon King David's mule, and brought him to Gihon. And Zadok the priest took an horn of oil out of the tabernacle and anointed Solomon, and they blew the trumpet. And all the people said, The Most High say, King Solomon. And all the people came up after him, and the people piped with pipes and rejoiced with great joy, so that the earth rent with the sound of them. You hear that? That's how much, pleasure and joy that we was having. Listen to what it says, verse 40. And all the people came up after him, And the people piped with pipes and rejoiced with great joy, playing music. And they were rejoicing with great joy, so that the earth rent with the sound of them. Say the earth. We make it so much. You know how we get loud? We were so loud, say the earth rent with the sound of them. Powerful, but having a good time. See, it wasn't all the time. Like you say, your gladness, we know how to have fun. We know how to enjoy ourselves. And that's what it's about. Look at, go to the book of Ezra. I'm going to be skipping around here, but go to the book of Ezra. Ezra, the 3rd chapter. And let's read the story from verse 8. 2nd Ezra 3 and 8. Now in the 2nd year of their coming unto the house of the Most High at Jerusalem, in the 2nd month, began Zerubbabel the son of Shealtiel and Joshua the son of Zodadak, and the remnant of their brethren, the priests and the Levites, and all they that were come out of the captivity unto Jerusalem, and appointed the Levites from 20 years old and upward to set forward the work of the house of the Most High, and them to do the things that need to be done in the house of the Most High. Then stood Joshua with his sons and his brethren, Camille and his sons, the sons of Judah, together to set forward the workmen in the house of the Most High, the sons of Henadad, with their sons and their brethren, the Levites, setting up the temple, the house of the Most High. And when the builders laid the foundation of the temple of the Most High, they set the priests in their apparel with trumpets. So once they laid the foundation of the temple, they set the priests in their garments with trumpets. And the Levites, the sons of Asaph, with cymbals to praise the Most High, after the ordinance of David, king of Israel. You know, David had all the songs that are songs of praise to the Most High. And they sang together, listen, and they sang together by course in praising and giving thanks unto the Most High, because he is good. For his mercy endureth forever toward Israel. He is good. And his mercy endureth forever to we the children of Israel. And all the people shouted with a great shout when they praised the Most High. See, it was loud. It wasn't all sad and all downtrodden and praising the Most High. We were loud. What did it say? And all the people shouted with a great shout when they praised the Most High, because the foundation of the house of the Most High was laid. But many of the priests and Levites and chief of the fathers, who were ancient men, they were elderly men, that had seen the first house. They had seen the first house. They were old enough to see the first house before it was destroyed. When the foundation of this house was laid before their eyes, wept with a loud voice, and many shouted aloud for joy. They were so happy to see the temple being built again. Just the foundation, they know the foundation is laid. Wow, we're going to have our temple back. It made them happy. Verse 13. So that the people could not discern the noise of the shout of joy from the noise of the weeping of the people. You know that? people outside, these other nations, they couldn't determine. They ain't know what was going on. So that the people could not discern the noise of the shout of joy from the noise of the weeping of the people. For the people shouted with a loud shout, and the noise was heard afar off. It was just crying out with joy. It wasn't sadness, it was joy, because finally we're going to get our temple back. Ezra, the 6th chapter. Ezra 6 and 16. And the children of Israel, the priests and the Levites and the rest of the children of the captivity, kept the dedication of this house of the Most High with joy. You see that? Happy. The key. The dedication of the house of the Most High being brought to back to us. That have been tore, really burnt down. You look at go to 1 Ezra 4:45. It says, "Thou," this is the man that won the bet of what is the greatest, the king or wine, or the third one, who won said the truth and women. So the truth won. There's nothing more greater than the truth. So as he won, this is what he said. And he was supposed to be getting certain things from the king that he promised, but this is what he asked for. Check this out. 1 Ezra 4:45. While you see the temples being built, this is why it had to be built. Thou also have vowed to build up the temple which the Edomites burned when Judea was made desolate by the Chaldeans. See? That's what he wanted. Cyrus had vowed to build the temple. So he said, hey, you vowed of us being in the Persian Mede Empire in captivity. He won. He said, you vowed to build the temple that the Edomites burned when we the Israelites went into captivity for 70 years under the Babylonians. Now, if you know anything about our story, even with his story, the Babylonians were taken down by the Persian Mede Empire. This is what he's telling me. Hey man, Cyrus vowed to build the temple. That's, when you go to Ezra, the 1st chapter, you're in the book of Ezra, in the Bible, go back to Ezra, the 1st chapter. I'll tell you verse 1. Now in the 1st year of Cyrus, king of Persia, that the word of the Most High by the mouth of Jeremiah might be fulfilled, the Most High stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, king of Persia, that he made a proclamation throughout all his kingdom, and put it also in writing, saying, Thus says Cyrus, king of Persia, the Most High power of heaven, hath given me all the kingdoms of the earth, and he hath charged me to build him an house at Jerusalem, which is in Judah. See, there it is. So, and that's why you see David, who was not in captivity under no nation, but put nations under captivity under the Israelites, while his son Solomon had peace for 40 years. David was at war for 40 years. As his son Solomon had peace for 40 years behind what his father, King David, had done in putting all nations under subjection to we the children of Israel. So that's why David prophesied in Psalms 137 and 7, it says, remember, O Most High, the children of Edom. So it's talking about the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof. So this is known in prophecy, something that's going to happen. Well, we just read where they did this. They burned our temple when the Chaldeans came to take us into captivity. The Babylonians, Cushites, the Ethiopians. So that's what he's prophesying about there. So let's continue the word of the Most High. Go back to Ezra's, the 6th chapter. And verse 22. Let's read verse 23. And the children of Israel, verse 21 and 22. And the children of Israel, which were come again out of captivity, and all such as had separated themselves unto them from the filthiness of the heathen of the land. See, we separate ourselves from the filthiness of the heathen of the land to seek the Most High power of Israel did eat. See? And we ate the Passover. But we had to come out and separate ourselves from the filthiness of the heathen of the land, and kept the feast of unleavened bread 7 days with joy, for the Most High had made them joyful. See, we kept the feast of unleavened bread for 7 days, for the Most High had made us joyful, and turned the heart of the king of Assyria unto them, to strengthen their hands in the work of the house of the Most High, the power of Israel. So the Most High, he ruling the kingdom of men. And he can have you do whatever he wants you to do, as you see him. So let's go to Nehemiah. Go to Nehemiah. The book of Nehemiah, 8th chapter. And let's look at starting at verse 9. Well, look at Nehemiah 8 and 8. It's very important. It says, so they read in the book in the law of the Most High distinctly, and gave the sense. So once they read the words, then they gave the understanding of what they read. Like you see us reading, then we give understanding of what we're reading, and cause them to understand the reading. See? Cause them to understand what was read. Listen, verse 9. And Nehemiah, which is the Tishatha, and Ezra, the priest, the scribe, and the Levites that taught the people, said unto all the people, this day is holy unto the Most High your power. Mourn not. See? We told it's a day of gladness, right? You say, mourn not, nor weep. So don't be sad. Mourn not, nor be weeping. Crying. For all the people wept. They was crying. Everybody was crying when they heard the words of the law. When they heard the words of the law, they started crying. Then he said unto them, go your way, eat the fat, and drink the sweet, and send portions unto them for whom nothing is prepared. He said, hey, get your food, make your food, and send portions to them that don't have anything prepared. Make sure that they are there. satisfied with the feast that you have made for yourself. For this day is holy unto our power. This day is holy unto our power. Neither be ye sorry. See, neither be ye sorry. For the joy of the Most High is your strength. See? So the Levites stilled all the people. They say, hey, Shemaiah, man, calm down. Say, hold your peace, for the day is holy. Neither be ye grieved. And all the people went their way to eat and to drink, and to send portions, and to make great mirth, gladness, because they had understood the words that were declared unto them. See? Showing you that these days are a day of gladness and not sadness. You know, leave that wherever you have it at, leave it wherever it is. Let it be. Don't bring it, else you out of order. Completely out of order. Remember, it's a law of the Most High. The Most High ordained. What we dealing with here in the land of Egypt. Look, even during the time of Esther, see, we ain't always have to be sad and broke down, crying and weeping. That's what I say. You're supposed to be weeping and groaning and moaning and crying the blues during the time that the Most High give us a day of gladness, at least once a month. And sometimes we have our holy convocations, but once a month we have a day of gladness, as we read, the new moon celebration. Look at another time we had gladness when we got victory over our enemies, when Haman wanted to kill us all off during the Persian Empire, when Esther was queen. Look at Esther 8. Esther the 8th chapter, verse 16 and 17. The Jews, well, let's read verse 15. And Mordecai went out from the presence of the king in royal apparel of the blue and white, and with a great crown of gold, and with a garment of fine linen and purple. And the city of Shushan rejoiced and was glad. For we had got victory over our enemies. They were planning on killing us. The Jews had light and gladness and joy and honor, and in every province and in every city, wheresoever the king's commandment and his decree came, the Jews had joy and gladness, a feast and a good day. And many of the people of the land became Jews, for the fear of the Jews fell upon them. You know, they want to follow our way, because the fear of the Jews came upon them, because Esther went in there and said, hey, one day wasn't enough, let us kill him another day. And she risked her life. The king could have put the scepter down, and that would have been death for her. See, we have powerful sisters. She risked her life for the nation of Israel. And we got the victory. The Most High softened his spirit so that he allowed us to do what we had to do for our salvation. Another one, Esther, the 9th chapter, verse 20. And Mordecai wrote these things and sent letters unto all the Jews that were in all the provinces of the king Ahasuerus, both nigh and far, both near and far, to establish this among them, that they should keep the 14th day of the month Adar, and the 15th day of the same year. So we keep the 14th and the 15th day of Adar, which is around the last month of the year, because it's a month before the Passover and Feast of Unleavened Bread. So the 14th and the 15th day of the year, of every year, keep this day of Purim. Just like you see all the different holidays, I call them holidays that they celebrate in the victories or whatever it is, like 4th of July, you know, the victory that they got over the British. They celebrate that. So we ordained days that we would, you know, come together and give the Most High all the praise and glory. We can't praise Him enough. So anybody that don't want to come together to praise Him, and He's worthy to be praised for everything, for allowing us to have the victory, because it's only through Him that we receive the victory. Verse 22, as the days wherein the Jews rested from their enemies, and the month which was turned unto them from sorrow to joy, so we just read, and from mourning into a good day, that they should make them days of feasting and joy, and of sending portions one to another, and gifts to the poor. See, that's the time that we dealt with giving gifts, and during Purim, not Hanukkah. You know, people try and deal with Hanukkah, try and, you know, equate it with the, because it's generally that time around Christmas. No, it was Purim. When you just heard it, you're going to see that, you know, during the time of the Feast of Lights. It says, and they should make them days of feasting and joy, and of sending portions one to another, and gifts to the poor. That's what we did. So we did have days. And these days, feast days, say most likely is a day of gladness. Let's go to the book of Proverbs. King Solomon dropped a lot of wisdom. Go to Proverbs 12. Look at verse 1. Whoso loveth instruction loveth knowledge, but he that hateth reproof is beauteous. You can't be told what to do in correction, instruction. You're beauteous, it says. Look at verse 20. Deceit is in the heart, which is the mind, of them that imagine evil. See, deceit. They'll lie in a minute. Is in the heart or the mind of them that imagine evil. You imagine evil, like I say, many are deceived by their own vain opinion, and an evil suspicion is overthrown their judgment. I say deceit. Lies within them is in the heart of them that imagine evil. But to the counselors of peace is joy. See? That's why you understand. The counselors of peace is joy. While we have to bring forth the proper peace to our brothers and sisters, they downtrodden, man. That's why Mashiach Shai said in St. John 14 and 27. St. John 14 and 27. He said, peace I leave with you. My peace I give unto you. Not as the world giveth. You can't get this peace from your daddy, your mama, your wife, your husband, your children. He said, not as the world giveth, give I unto you. Say, let not your heart be troubled. Don't let your heart be troubled. neither let it be afraid. Say, you gotta roll with the Most High. But some of my shaka should have named it in order to say, so don't be afraid, because go to 2 Timothy 1 and 7. For the Most High, 2 Timothy 1 and 7, for the Most High have not given us the spirit of fear. He ain't given us the spirit to be afraid of anything, except for him, but of power. That power is spiritual power. See? 2 Timothy 1 and 7. For the Most High has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power. We got to fear him, the Most High. That's the beginning of knowledge and wisdom. For the Most High has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power. That power is spiritual power in the name of the Lord and Savior. That's how we reach the Most High, for his power. How you going to get any other way? And of love. What's the love? Keep the Most High's commandments. And of a sound mind. A sound mind to be able to direct those that are in need according to the word of the Most High. See, so that's, just we want to back that up. Go to Luke 12 and 4. I make statements to make sure that it's not just like, you hear what I'm saying, regurgitate what I'm saying, and not know that you can go in the scriptures and quote just what it says here. Go to Luke 12 and 4. And I say unto you, my friends, this is Mashiach Yahushua speaking to us, the anointed Savior. Be not afraid, which is fear. Be not afraid, which is being scared of them that kill the body. And after that, have no more that they can do. But I will forewarn you whom ye shall fear. So he said, be not afraid in verse 4. Because, in the church they teach you that you don't have to be afraid of the Most High. You have to fear the Most High. Because the Most High is love, and they have created their own power. Not the power in this Bible, because this is what I'm going to say. They're supposed to believe in him. The anointed Savior, this is what he said. I said to you, my friends, be not afraid of them which kill, or that kill the body. And after that, have no more that they could do. They can kill you, but ain't nothing else they can do. Just a dead carcass there. But I will forewarn you whom ye shall fear. Fear him which after he have killed have power to cast into hell. Yeah, I say unto you, fear him. Be afraid of him. So that's what we're supposed to fear. He's telling us now to be joyful in the Most High and in the Mashiach Yahushua. See, some people, they can't really see that because, the Most High told us in Ecclesiastes 2 and 4, whatsoever the Most High give you, take cheerfully. So if you ain't operating that spirit, how can you fulfill what he's saying if you're not operating that spirit? Look what he said in St. John 15. And we can read verse 10. St. John 15 and 10. If ye keep my commandments, this is Mashiach Yahushua, you keep my laws that they teach you that you're not under, ye shall abide in my love. See, that's how you abide in his love. If you keep my commandments, ye shall abide in my love. Even if I have kept my Father's commandments, he didn't sin. He kept the Most High's commandments and abide in his love. Listen, these things have I spoken unto you, that my joy might remain in you. He said he's going to give us his peace. Not the peace that you can get in the world. A special peace that you should look at, that I've looked at, and you can tap into during times of trouble, times of pain, times of sorrow and so forth. Times when you need that peace that he's talking about. If you learn and believe it, you'll have that. And here it is, he's telling you his joy. These things have have I spoken unto you, that my joy might remain in you, and that your joy might be full. See, this is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. See, you gotta love one another. As he loved us enough to give his life for we, the children of Israel. Knowing that he had to come here and fulfill that. Very important that we see this and understand this and abide in his peace and his love. It's something that you can really, really believe in, because he's not a man that should lie, and it really works. A lot of our people need it because of the oppressive times that we're going through. At least he give us a day, this day, that we don't have to be moping and moaning. Like they say, stop crying. They told him, stop crying. It's a day of joy. You know, feel good for the victory that we received in getting the temple back, as we read, and getting the victory over our enemies. How would you feel if you know you're going to get wiped out, and the Most High come through and you're able to get the victory over your enemies? Look at Ecclesiastes 2. Concerning King Solomon. Look at verse 9. Ecclesiastes 2 and 9. So I was great and increased more than all that were before me in Jerusalem. Hear that? Most High blessed him. Because all King Solomon wanted to do was to be able to judge the people. Most High said, since you just asked for that, I will bless you with riches and knowledge and understanding beyond imagination. But we know he fell short in his older age. So but he's just an example and admonition for us to know not to do the same thing that he done, or anyone in this Bible did that was off, concerning being in the spirit with the Most High and the Mashiach Yahushua. You don't follow the same thing. You don't do the same thing, or else you ignorant. You know, you in darkness. You can call yourself in the light, but if you do all the things that represent those that went into darkness, then you in darkness. But here you shining bright with the light at this time. Ecclesiastes